Stop pretending you're fine. You and I both know there are nights you lie awake staring at the ceiling, feeling like a stranger in your own skin. Men feel it. Women feel it. The quiet dread that life is moving, yet you're stuck inside the same shell. It's not weakness, it's weight. The weight of noise, of demands, of routines that eat your hours without feeding your soul. Here's the contrarian truth. Reinvention isn't about adding more. It's about stripping away what never belonged. Think of a sculptor staring at marble. The masterpiece isn't added, it's uncovered by subtraction. You are the marble, waiting for the chisel. And the blows don't have to be violent. They can be small, precise, repeated cuts. That's how mountains erode, how rivers carve valleys, how ordinary people become unrecognizable even to themselves. This video is built in 6 parts, each one small enough to act on immediately, powerful enough to shift the way you carry yourself. And somewhere in the middle, there's something special waiting, a gift, a phrase so sharp and simple, it can armor you the next time life drags you into chaos. So before we begin, let me ask you directly, if nothing outside of you changed for the next 30 days, could you still change? Take that question with you as we step into part 1. If that question already stirred something in you, tap the like button. Let's anchor this commitment right now. 1. The 2-minute morning reset. Your day doesn't begin when the alarm rings. It begins the moment you decide who commands your first thought. Most people surrender instantly, scrolling, reacting, drowning before they have even stood up. You don't have to. Sit at the edge of your bed for 2 minutes, that's all. No performance, no incense, no posture to impress anyone. Just sit. Let your thoughts drift through like strangers in a crowded station. You don't chase them, you don't fight them. You watch them pass, knowing not every traveler deserves a ticket into your day. This is not about clearing your mind, it's about refusing to be kidnapped by it. The Stoics called it presence of attention, owning the gap between thought and meaning. In those 2 minutes, you train your nervous system to separate noise from direction. That's the first muscle of freedom. You're not kidnapped by thoughts, you're the one holding the keys. I once sat in a hotel lobby watching a man polish the same brass railing for nearly an hour. Guests rushed by, impatient. He moved slowly, deliberately, until the metal glowed. That's what this reset does. It polishes the surface before the world leaves its fingerprints on you. Try it tomorrow. 2 minutes before your phone, before your teeth, before your coffee. Notice the cloud of worries. Notice the echo of last night's arguments. Notice the tiny sparks of anticipation. Label them lightly, then let them pass. By week's end, you'll see the same patterns circling, but instead of being dragged, you'll be watching from higher ground. When the day throws its weight at you, you'll recall that morning pause. You'll know this is just another thought passing through, not a command, and suddenly choice returns. So tell me, tomorrow morning, will you be the passenger or the conductor? 2. Precision gratitude. Gratitude is easy to fake. Most people rattle off the same tired lines. Family, health, roof over my head. The words are true but empty. Here's the contrarian truth. Most gratitude practices fail because they repeat the obvious. Real gratitude lives in the overlooked detail. My first gratitude journal looked like a broken record. Family, health, Wi-Fi. Even I got bored of myself. The brain tunes out repetition the way your ears stop hearing background music in a store. Real gratitude is not volume, it's precision. Today, I want you to hunt for one overlooked victory, not the obvious, something so small you'd usually step over it. The bus that arrived just as you reached the stop. The email you expected to drag you down but turned out lighter than you feared. The barista who remembered your name without asking. One detail, nothing more. Then trace its hidden chain. That coffee? A farmer woke before dawn halfway across the world. Someone roasted the beans, packed them, shipped them, stocked them, pressed the button at the machine, and all of it converged in the moment the cup touched your hand. Suddenly, what seemed ordinary becomes a constellation of effort. Awe sneaks in where boredom used to live. See the sacred in the simple, and you'll never run out of wonder. I once stood in an office elevator when a stranger shifted just half a step so my bag wouldn't slam into the door. Half a step, 2 seconds, forgotten by everyone else. Yet that tiny courtesy bent my mood toward patience for the rest of the day. Practice this once a day. Write down the overlooked win, then ask, why did it matter? Who else made it possible? The answers will surprise you, and after 2 weeks you won't need to search. The wins will start appearing on their own because your vision will be tuned to see them. Most people scan for faults. You'll be scanning for value. And the person who sees hidden blessings in plain sight carries a calm that no crisis can counterfeit. So here's the challenge. Today, will you settle for generic thanks, or will you dig until you uncover treasure? And if this feels like a treasure you needed to hear, share this video with someone who could use the same reminder. 3. The midday energy check. Your energy is the currency of your life. Spend it blindly and you end up bankrupt by evening. Protect it wisely and you show up full where it matters most. Most people treat exhaustion as normal, dragging their body like a phone running on 1%. But no one lives well on emergency mode. Once a day, at an unpredictable moment, stop and ask yourself, am I being charged or drained right now? Don't answer with stories, answer with your body. Are your shoulders hunched? Is your breath shallow? Does your chest feel open or caged? These are not quirks, they are signals. If the answer is drained, you have 3 moves. Change the situation, change your stance, or step away completely. Close the app, shift your posture, excuse yourself from the loop. Later is too late. Power leaks rarely fix themselves. They bleed until you intervene. I've sat in meetings where people argued an hour just to feel important. By the end, they'd solved nothing, except how to waste coffee. I remember riding with Kai, my mentor, through the forest, my grip tight, breath shallow, the horse restless beneath me. Sensing my tension, Kai said softly, "The horse feels you before it hears you." I exhaled, loosened the reins, and the horse steadied. So did I. In that moment, I learned energy guides more than words ever could. Contrary to what we've been told, not all struggle makes you stronger. Some reins held firm bring control. Others choke the horse. The wisdom is knowing which is which. Good fatigue feels like effort that adds to you. Bad fatigue feels like effort that empties you. The wisdom is knowing which is which, and this energy check helps you see the difference before the damage piles up. Do it daily and you'll develop an instinct. You'll know which people fuel you, which habits hollow you, and which spaces allow you to breathe. And from that awareness, choices sharpen. So let me ask, the next time your battery dips, will you wait for collapse, or will you protect your spark before it burns out? And because guarding your spark matters so much, I want to hand you something I rarely share. A hidden tool, a shield I was once given. Carry this and storms lose their teeth. Let me give you something extra here, something you won't find in books or routines. Consider it armor you can carry into any storm. The next time chaos pulls you, an argument online, a pointless debate, the silent war of comparison. Pause, whisper 2 lines. This is noise, not guidance. My energy is worth more than this scroll. I didn't invent these words. Kai once told me, noise will always invite you. Guidance never shouts. Learn the difference. I turned his wisdom into these 2 lines so I could carry them anywhere. Use them once and you'll feel the shift. Use them daily and they become instinct, an invisible shield. So in the next week when chaos calls, will you feed it or will you put on your armor? 4. The one-breath self-talk. Swap. Most wounds hit once. The second strike is the one we deliver ourselves. Spill coffee, forget a name, lose your place in a meeting. The event stings, but the voice makes it bleed. Stupid, clumsy, weak. That voice has been trained to cut deeper than any critic outside of you. Here's the shift. When that voice attacks, stop for a single breath. Inhale slowly, exhale fully, and replace the lash with a line. Given what I knew, I did what I could. Now I know more, simple, not sweet, clear, not cruel. You're not excusing, you're adjusting. I once slipped on a wet trail in the mountains, palms scraped and pride bruised. My old habit shouted, careless. One breath, one swap. I stood up, tightened my laces, and kept climbing. I once scolded myself for dropping a spoon. Imagine burning energy just to insult cutlery. The mountain didn't need my shame. It needed my steadiness. Psychologists call the repeated attack the second arrow. The Stoics called it distorted judgment. Modern science calls it stress replay. Whatever the name, it drains twice the energy for half the lesson. The harshest wound isn't what happens. It's the voice you train to repeat it. This one breath swap interrupts the spiral before it digs its claws in. Practice it anywhere. At your desk after a missed line of code. In traffic after taking the wrong turn. At dinner when you forgot the detail you meant to remember. One breath, one line, then forward. Over weeks, the critic softens, the pause lengthens, and you begin to hear curiosity where condemnation once lived. When you're no longer at war with yourself, others feel it too. You become safer to be around, not because you're flawless, but because you've made peace with being human. So answer this for yourself. If you spoke to a friend the way you speak to yourself, would they stay? And if not, why should you keep listening? 5. The nightly done declaration. Most people go to bed as prisoners of unfinished tasks. Are you one of them? Most of us end the day like prisoners of our own mind. We climb into bed and immediately replay everything unfinished. Emails unsent, projects half done, words left hanging. It's like putting yourself on trial every night, and the sentence is always the same. Not enough. But here's the reversal. Productivity isn't defined by what you left undone. It's proven by what you carried through, however small. No wonder mornings already feel heavy before the sun even rises. But there's a better way to close the day. Instead of obsessing over what slipped, honor what was completed, no matter how small. 3 things. That's it. Not the big milestones, but the quiet wins that usually vanish in the blur. Sending that text you'd been avoiding. Choosing patience instead of snapping back. Drinking water instead of reaching for soda. They may look ordinary, but they count. One evening, Elena and I prepared Christmas gifts for children at a charity center. Wrapping paper scattered, boxes half done. Midnight arrived with work unfinished. She sighed. So much effort and still not done. The old me would have called it failure. Instead, I noticed her smile as she tied one ribbon, the quiet joy of picturing the kids' faces. That night, I wrote it as one of my 3 completions. I stayed present in the giving, even when the task remained unfinished. When I wrote it down, it looked so small on paper. But sometimes the smallest line saves the whole page. And I woke lighter, knowing love matters more than a perfect finish. Here's the practice. Keep a small notebook by your bed. Each night before sleep, jot down 3 done moments. They don't need to be perfect or impressive. They just need to be real. After a few weeks, your mind begins scanning for these wins during the day. You notice progress instead of pressure. You see effort where you once only saw failure. This is how you build what I call completion momentum. You start trusting yourself again, not because you did it all, but because you followed through on something. And trust in yourself is the fuel of reinvention. So tonight, before you close your eyes, ask yourself, will you end the day by measuring what's missing or by honoring what's already been made? 6. The 30-day operating system. Change doesn't come from one dramatic leap. It comes from building a system that whispers to you every day until it becomes your second nature. These 5 practices, your morning reset, your gratitude hunt, your energy check, your breath of self-kindness, and your nightly declaration, are not random. They are parts of an engine. And when they turn together for 30 days, they create a rhythm stronger than willpower. Think of it like training a muscle. 1 rep means little. 30 days means the muscle remembers even when you don't. Each habit plants a small flag in your day: dawn, midday, night. And by the end of the month, those flags mark out a new territory. That territory is you. I used to believe transformation required a grand turning point, a collapse, a revelation, a perfect Monday to begin again. But real change is quieter. It hides in the check boxes you keep. I've lived this. 30 days of consistency changed me more than 30 years of chasing intensity. Here's how you begin. Make a simple grid for the month. 5 boxes each day. Morning, gratitude, early breath, done. Miss one? Don't punish yourself. Fill the next. By the end of the month, you won't just see check marks. You'll see evidence of a different self taking shape. I once visited a dam under construction. For weeks, nothing looked impressive, just concrete being poured, mud everywhere, and workers repeating the same steps day after day. But then came the first heavy rain. The water rushed in, and suddenly that quiet, repetitive labor revealed its power. The reservoir filled, and an entire valley lit up with electricity. That's what these 30 days do. Each habit is a small pour of concrete. At first, it feels like nothing changes, but then pressure comes, life tests you, and instead of collapsing, you hold. Energy, calm, and focus rush in, and the structure you've built begins to power everything around you. 30 days is short enough to ignore, but long enough to change your face in the mirror. One morning you'll look up and realize the stranger staring back is you, reborn. So ask yourself, 30 days from now, who will notice first that you've changed? And what will they see without knowing why? You don't need a new life to live differently. You need new defaults. 2 minutes at dawn to clear the noise. 1 precise gratitude to sharpen your sight. An energy check to guard your spark. A single breath to soften your self-talk. 3 nightly completions to end your day with strength. Stacked together, they don't just change habits, they change identity. Do this for 30 days and people around you will sense something has shifted. They won't know why, but they'll see it in your eyes, in the steadiness of your presence. And you'll know it wasn't luck. It wasn't some grand breakthrough. It was 5 small acts, repeated until they rewrote the story you tell about yourself. Kai once told me, the future you is always waiting in the choices you make today. That line has never left me. and now it belongs to you. Restraint, gratitude, presence, breath, completion. Together they uncover the self that was always waiting. So begin. Tomorrow morning, take your 2 minutes. By night, write your 3 lines. Let the cycle turn. And when someone looks at you months from now and says, "You seem different," you'll smile, because you'll know you've finally uncovered the version of you that was there all along, waiting beneath the noise. And if you're ready to begin, subscribe now, because the next lessons will only take you deeper. And before you leave, drop a comment. Which of these habits will you start tonight? Your words might be the spark for someone else. Now let me ask you, will you leave this video and slip back into old gravity? Or will you begin the 30 days that change everything?